Hi there everybody and welcome to a Manchester United career mode with one key difference from other career modes on YouTube, and that is that we'll be focusing more on a realistic take to career mode. And by that I mean transfers and matches, and we'll explain more as we go on, as we go through this video. Now, why realism? Because I watch a lot of YouTube and I get annoyed watching like a championship team reject offers from Real Madrid. Shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen in real life. Shouldn't happen in game. Just do what you're meant to do. Stupid, I know, but that's just why I get annoyed. Anyway, the reason we're on this page is that we are starting in 2021. I mean, it is 2021, but by that I mean in-game, Manchester United, real life, I've just lost the Europa League final. I am not going to give credit to Villarreal. I mean, you can defend all you want for 120 minutes, but then again, 11 perfect penalties. So, we're going on the basis, Man United have lost the Europa League, Ollie's been sacked, and we're in now to effectively change that, or at least that's what we're hoping for. So, the first initial season where we started has been simmed, and we are going to be going into, well, basically it will be season 2 of the career mode. Now, we'll have a wee look at the Premier League and see who's came up and who's went down at this point in time. Just to give us an idea, like who we're going to be facing. And let's see if the game replicated real life at all. Immediately you can see Norwich is there, which is a good sign, so somewhat, and you can see Brentford's there if you look to the right. However, considering we've started at the bottom of the table, Watford are not there. So who came up instead of Watford? Who's it going to be? It's Bournemouth. Bournemouth have came up. I mean, after their performance in the playoffs, they don't deserve. I've never been more angry at a second leg, a semi-final in my life with the way they acted, but that's not why we're here though. Let's start talking transfers. Wow. Transition. Now, the transfers are going to be very simple. What we've got to discuss is the plans. Like I said, I want realism, so players will be sold to teams that I feel that would potentially move to. And same for the sort of players that we bring in, and I'll get more to the players we bring in. The only sort of difference in realism that there's going to be this first season is that the amount of players I'll be selling. I don't like having like big squads, if that makes sense. Um, like the only unrealistic part is going to be the amount of players that go out and probably the amount of money we spend in this first season. Well, let's quickly move over the transfer list anyway, and we'll show you who we're looking to sell. And right off the bat, right at the top, we have Nemanja Matic. Been linked to leave, potentially to Roma, link up with Jose Mourinho again, but I think that deal is dead in the water. David De Gea, potential swap deal with Atletico Madrid, back to Atletico Madrid for Jan Oblak. I'll take that in real life. So we've popped him in the transfer market. Shouldn't have missed his penalty. Should have saved a few penalties, to be honest. I'd expect to see him leave in real life, so we're going to get rid of him as well. Just underneath him, you can see Phil Jones. Should have left Manchester United about 5 years ago. Jesse Lingard. Time to go. We'll see where he goes. West Ham. Back to West Ham. Borussia Dortmund's been linked as well for the potential for the Jadon Sancho deal. Andres Pereira, just a player that's never really lived up to the ability that we felt he should have had. He probably could have been Bruno Fernandes before Bruno Fernandes if he'd lived up to his potential. Underneath him, we've got Fred. I think Manchester United were hoping for Fernandinho and got Fred. Martial, not lived up to the hype, let's face it. I mean, what's that, 6, 7 years he's been there now? Where did we sign him at, 18? I can't remember. Been there a good while and he's just not lived up to what we've been expecting. Like, how often do you see them this season? Not at all. Joe Pereira, underneath him, uh, his contract was meant to be up, and when I simmed the first season, the AI gave him a contract, as it does, apparently. Now, I can't give him a contract while he's out on loan, which he was, but apparently the AI can. So, next up is Eric Bailly. Just injury plagued, really, Eric Bailly. I mean, I feel he could have been a good defender for us, but injuries have got away from him being like a top draw for the club. Next up, it's probably one of the bigger shocks. Not if you're a Manchester United fan, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. 50 million waste of money. Let's face it. I don't rate him as a good right back. I rate him as a good defender, but not as a Manchester. Not as a good. It's one of the weird ones where he could be great for somebody else, but he's just not doing it for Manchester United. Like, I'd rather had somebody else playing at right back, and anybody else. Put Brandon Williams at right back. Underneath him, Marcus Rashford. Where do we start with Marcus Rashford? Well, I like Marcus Rashford. I remember watching his debut against FC Midtjylland. I was actually in work watching the football, which I probably shouldn't have been, but I've had enough of Marcus Rashford. He came out saying that he was still. He admitted he had a bad season, but it wasn't because of the lack of commitment or dedication. If I'm sorry, I'd rather see him committed to his football and dedicated to try to score goals than the politics of outside football. If he wants to deal with politics, wait till his career's over. Focus on one or the other, but not both. So that's why I've transfer listed him. When I looked on, I did have a wee look online. Like, the only two teams he's ever been linked with have been Barcelona and Real Madrid. So those would be the sides that I would potentially sell him to. Those are the only two sides that would probably sell him to. Next up, Tahith Chong, just 21, not really lived up to anything really. Has he? So Ethan Galbraith, another one that honestly I've never really seen Ethan Galbraith. I'm getting rid of him more on the fact that he doesn't have a face, and I hate faceless players. I've made an exception, I think, for Hannibal and Shola Shorta, just because I've seen them play for Manchester United. I've never seen Galbraith, and I'd much rather FIFA gave them like regen faces than blank faces. Next is Deshaun Bernard. I think he was on loan at Salford this season. Just not really, in my opinion, got to make it at Manchester United. I'd expect better for a 20-year-old defender, but he's just not doing it. I have stupidly high standards when it comes to football players. Reece Devine, again, same thing, don't think he'll make it. And then we look at the loan options, we've got Aliou Traore, got to go back out on loan. He was at SM Cannes this season, had an okay season. Another loan for him, because we'll have Anthony Alanga, who, lovely debut header for him against who did he score against? Wolves? I actually can't remember. That's bad of me. James Garner, hopefully try and get him out to a Premier League side, get that overall. I would like to keep him and use him. I like James Garner. And Tyrion Mengi out on loan. I think he went to Derby and helped Wayne Rooney stay in the Championship. So we'll give him a try. But let's face it, you don't want to see the outs. You want to see, like, we've spent so long on it. Let's look at the short list. Who we want to bring in. We mentioned them earlier with David here. We want to bring in Jan Oblak. I mean, we might go for the same sort of deal. We might look at that exact same deal and be like, you know what, okay, we'll do this. We'll try the swap. I might try the swap deal. Just depends how much he's got to cost on top of that. Underneath Max Aarons, I should probably say though, all these players, by the way, I've searched online, and as long as there was more than one source of this being a genuine link, they're on this shortlist right now. So Max Aarons was last linked about a year and a half ago. I hunted for a right back link just for the simple fact that I needed a right back to replace Wan-Bissaka. I would not have went out my way as much as I did if I didn't know I wanted rid of Wan-Bissaka. But there we go. Like Max Aarons, he's low rated, 2 years younger, but I reckon that the England squad in a few years' time it'll be between Trent Alexander-Arnold and Max Aarons for that starting berth. That's if he doesn't go and play for Jamaica. Was it Jamaica? he could play for as well. Am I getting mixed up with somebody else? Anyway, back to the topic. Raphael Varane, been linked to Manchester United for years. I think he was linked to Manchester United when he actually signed for Real Madrid from RC Lens. So one of the world's best defenders. Sort of slacking off a wee bit as he's getting older. I'll still take him. Pau Torres, Europa League winner. Absolutely done great against Manchester United. Love to bring him in. Ben White was a weird one. I didn't know we were linked with him. I knew he was linked with Liverpool and Arsenal, I believe, and Leeds and sort of that. I don't think he's been linked with Arsenal, Leeds and like Liverpool. But I seen it, I thought, you know what, okay, I'll get him on the short list. Why not? Also Jules Koundé as well, linked with a potential £70 million move to Manchester United, which ironically FIFA have got pretty much bang on the money for the next season, between 59 and 81. They clearly don't have bang on the money. David Moyes says we take the Bank of England and the Bank of Scotland to sign Declan Rice. No, I wouldn't take that. Apparently take about 40 million. Obviously though, the one that would take both banks right underneath him, Jadon Sancho. 215 million. Are you taking the mick? Oh, we've got about 400 million this season, and I don't know how I feel about spending 189 for his release clause on one player. I probably will bring him in because we've been so heavily linked. But he's going to cost me 100 million more than what he's potentially meant to be costing in real life. Saul linked to Manchester United for last 5 years. I won't sign him, just had on the short list. There's certain adoptions. But soon has been more linked to Arsenal and Liverpool. Neves has been more linked to Liverpool as well as Tielemans as well. But they've also been linked to Manchester United, so they made the list because they didn't have many centre mid options. Haaland, we all know about Haaland's link, but look at that price. Not a chance if I'm going for Sancho first. Harry Kane, I don't know how I feel about Harry Kane, and that's all I'm going to say. Would it be good at any club he leaves Spurs for? Yes. It'll be interesting to see where he goes. And I think if we bring this man in, we won't go for Harry Kane. Just saying. Danny Ings was a weird one that I seen linked, and I would take Danny Ings. I mean, he can score the goals. I'd take Patrick Bamford for the goals he can score. Just don't think they would work in Manchester United's team. Grealish, another one linked with Man City for 100 million, but we would take him as well. But yeah, those are the players that were mostly linked, and as you can see now, we're going in. De Gea, 102.5 million. De Gea and 102.5 for All Black. Like, I don't know what the game was. I don't know what I was thinking. 100 million for a goalkeeper. Bailly, get rid of Bailly and 35 million for Pau Torres. Stupid clean sheet bonuses. We did end up using Jesse Lingard to bring in Declan Rice, 37.5 million. Max Allen, we tried to offer a player, but I didn't really feel a damn day offer. 18.5 million. 49,500 a year, maybe too much on the wage side of things for that, but we did get an offer in for Rashford. I just didn't feel, like I said, Barcelona and Real Madrid only. Garner, I don't think, we're not loaning Garner out to the La Liga, and I'm not selling McTominay to Liverpool. Like I said, we're trying to keep it somewhat realistic with the transfers, even though I'm pretty sure I've spent a fortune. We get some more offers in again. Martial to RB Leipzig, and I sat and thought about this for a while, and I thought, you know what? I could see this happening. So I tried to be cheeky and get a wee bit extra money for him. Tahith Chong at Brentford, I could see that. Brentford just came up. Man United looking to sell Chong. I think Brentford could take him, especially if they like their wingers. 2-year loan deal from Brighton. I don't know if they'll keep him out there for the full 2 years, but like Premier League team, out on loan, happy days. I don't know why Rio Ave thought I'd want Ivo Pinto. I was totally for sending Joe Pereira to a Portuguese team. So we just, like, you know, I'll delegate just the money. I got really confused seeing that player swap there. And I just let my assistant handle that. And sadly, though, at the end, they rejected. They weren't interested. So that was really annoying. Phil Jones on loan. I'm trying to sell him, and Neems are trying to loan him for 2 years. And I'm like, nope. And Man City wanted Fred. I was willing to let Fred go destroy Man City, but I was like, that would never happen. And I thought, okay, let's get our youth system on the go. I was going to bring in three, and then I thought, nah, you need that 5-star judgment, and you end up with a lot of players by the end of the first season. You're better off working one or two, because you can get a lot of players who can be really, really good. So I thought Manchester United bring for a lot of good English youngsters, and I was trying to think of another country for Manchester United. And I was like, could go Scotland. They've had Darren Fletcher. They've brought in Scott McTominay, and I thought, you know what? More recently, they've brought in like Mark Gerardo and obviously Arnold Pigmal, who's actually back to Spain. I thought, you know what? We'll go with Spain for the 9 months and see what we get. Sadly, transfer negotiations for Martial broke down. Maybe somebody can tell me if they think this would happen. Would Atalanta try and sign Victor Lindelof? Does anybody believe that would be a real, like a real transfer? As you can see, I spent a lot of time thinking about this and decided on no, I couldn't see Atalanta sign them. I could see some Italian sides looking to sign them, but I could not see Atalanta sign them. Just like I don't see Jones going to France. Matic, I could see Matic going to Hertha Berlin. Hertha Berlin signed Sami Khedira for Juventus. I could see them taking a player like Matic. That one to me made sense. Mengi going on loan to France. Again, not making sense. Ali Traore, I didn't see him going to Hellas Verona. We bit the bullet though. In the end, we spent 189 million Sancho. If you wonder why I done the 2 million signing bonus, it was just simply to make sure there was nothing that was going to mess up the transfer, if that makes sense. Just that, like, in case, like, oh, I didn't give him enough wages or this and that, and just storm it and don't actually try and give you a secondary offer. I hate it when they do that. But just before we get into the game, I want to show the sliders at this moment in time. I've got to say, because I'm only playing Legendary, I don't play Ultimate. I've got literally no fun in playing Ultimate, and I don't play the competitive mode. Is it competitive or competition mode? It takes the fun out of the game. Injury frequency has been raised. You don't get injuries in career mode, and if you do, it's like 5 days. Doesn't happen. And that's it. That's all I've messed with. However, for the CPU, I've done the same. I gave them the injuries. I've gave their goalkeeper a little bit more juice. However, I've increased their first touch, and you'll see here I did bring it back down to 60. This is simply for the fact, like, I'll change first touch control for a lot of different teams, because our first game's against Fulham. No offence, Fulham are not going to pass the ball with such zip like Barcelona. And it's one of those sort of things, like, you'll see, like, Bobby Reed will whip a 50-yard ball and it'll hit the chest of like it'll hit the chest of Junior Stanislas. Do I believe Stanislas could take it down? Probably in real life he could do. In the game though, at his rating, he should not be taking it down. But that's just me. That's just me being me at that point. Like, I will mess with the first touch rating for the teams. And as we load up here for the first game at home, we're doing this for all teams, what's about to happen. Every home game, for other than ourselves now, we'll let the team sheet come up and we'll see like who other teams have signed, and we can just like sort of be like, ooh, is that like, would that really happen? Also, I'm not going to show Fulham here, we're just going to show our new Manchester United lineup coming up in the lovely Barclays Premier League graphics. Still wish they'd fix Mason Greenwood's character image. I feel that's a strong team. I mean, it's nearly the team that started the Villarreal Europa League game. But anyway, let's get right into the first game and see what happens. Take full control, and of course Fulham get the first corner and the first attack of the game. Near post header, and not gonna lie, when I seen them nearly getting up for the header, I thought we were back in FIFA 18. Good save by Oblak, and we get a wee dance. So hard to do a standard tackle this year, and Oblak gets that ball out. Get that ball, Cavani's hold up play perfect. Bruno Fernandes. Is it Fernandes or Fernandes? This is really like starting to bug me. I hear like so many different people say Bruno Fernandes. I think the commentators on this say Bruno Fernandes as well, I can't remember. But you watch any game in real life, Bruno Fernandes. Which is it? This year happened a lot in the game. Goalie kicks it, we head it back up, and suddenly we're on the attack. And if you don't believe me when I say that happened a lot in this game, just watch. Kick it, head it, back on the attack. Like, the amount of times this happened in this game was stupid. You can see it, 77% possession. I was like, maybe I should change that first touch. Maybe that first touch is actually like making it easier for me. Greenwood nearly loses the ball, gets it out to Cavani. Cavani, oh, we cut. There's back to Greenwood, and Greenwood, and it's saved. That's a golden opportunity. 35 minutes for the first real chance of the game, and we've missed a great chance to score. But, you know, I trust in Greenwood. If he won't make that mistake twice and not score for an easy position, will he? Yes, he will. And Cavani misses an absolutely great chance. Jadon Sancho. First time we've seen Sancho, I think, in that entire first half. 189 million well spent. So we're going to half time 0-0, and just have a look at the match facts here. 69, nice, percent possession. Like, all over Fulham. Like, it's been a good start, but we need to keep it up. We need to keep going, and we will beat Fulham. And as I was thinking this and saying it, because even though I do my commentary post, I was literally like, I'm always thinking about what I'm thinking at that point in time. That's what I was thinking. Of course, we gave away the penalty of Pau Torres on his debut, penalty, and all I seen was a player wearing yellow and a penalty. So of course we weren't saving it. Of course it was going in. And Alexander Mitrovic makes it 1-0 to Fulham in the 49th minute. And then it became a midfield slog. We get to the 60th minute, nothing had happened. We finally get a ball through to Pogba, and the defender gets in the way again. And Fulham end up right on the break. Adams tries to commit, just leaves it. Torres again, Torres, Maguire, nobody can get to Mitrovic, was got a great save by All Black, and Maguire's making no mistake. And, we got lucky there. It'd still be 1-0 down, we should have been 2-0 down there. Like, we have not been at the races in the second half. First half destruction. Then again, just as that happened, boom. Bruno Fernandes, whatever you want to call him, I'm just got to scream Bruno. We get the equalising goal finally. We should have been 2-0 down, immediately right up the park. Bruno Fernandes. So left foot across goalkeeper, bottom corner. Can't ask for more than that. 65th minute goal. I mean, what could be better? I'll tell you what can be better. Finding that winner. We made a couple of subs, brought in James and Rice. Put Greenwood up front because we took Cavani off. Put Greenwood up front. First thing Greenwood does as a striker. Plays it to Scott McTominay, and we are 2-1 up. 4 in-game minutes. What is that? It's like 30 seconds. 30 seconds to 1-0 down to 2-1 up. Laughing. But that's just FIFA this year, isn't it? That was total momentum. Don't tell me momentum doesn't exist. That was total momentum because the goal had been saving everything at this point. Scott McTominay does make it 2-1 to United. Thankfully we've got the lead. We're not having the 1-each draw with Fulham that happened the last day of the season, and we go on. Or do we go on? 2 minutes later, All Black makes a save. I think that could have been a penalty. Like, All Black makes a save, but he completely takes out Bobby the recorder, Reed. And after that, nothing happened in the game. We defensively held out. I crossed it in just to get the final whistle away. 2-1 victory, but it was okay. I mean, for the first game of the season, we played well. It was more interesting this next part, which really got me worried and realised we may have wasted a lot of money. No shots, no goals from Jadon Sancho. I might as well have kept Rashford. I mean, well, Rashford's still here, but I might as well just play Rashford and get the money. But I mean, what more can you really do at that point? We've tried. We're trying to go with the realistic. We expect Sancho to sign. If he plays like that, we're going to be in the mud. But you know what? First game though, 2-1 victory. I'm happy with that. And this is what we try and kick on. We want to win the league. We want to go well in the Champions League. We'll have a look at the table. Our first game, Chelsea top, 3 goals. They won 3-0. So if we look down at, this is how we'll end every episode. If we look at the table, Man City lost their first game. Happy days. That's exactly what I see. Brighton, James Garner's no helping them. But anyway, that's been the first episode of this Manchester United realistic career mode, I guess. Realism career mode. Whatever you want to call it. And suppose just thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.